Everybody wants to know, what is the best cut of steak to make homemade jerky with? Is it the cheap cut, the fancy ribeye, or something in between? Today, we're gonna find out. And to put it to the test, we grabbed the most common steak cuts you'll find at your local Walmart, stack them head to head to figure out which one actually makes great jerky, and which ones you shouldn't even add to your shopping cart. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which cut is right for you, whether you want tender, chewy, bold, or budget-friendly jerky. But here's the thing, not all steak cuts are created equal. Some dry down into perfect strips of chewy, flavorful jerky, and others leave you with greasy mess and worse, wasted meat. That's why we're testing Walmart's most common cuts. We'll look at price, fat content, how easy they are to slice, how they marinate, how they dehydrate, and of course, the final taste and texture. Okay, before I get started, this is where you come in. If you've made jerky before, drop a comment right now. Let me know what cut works best for you, which cut you've had the best luck with, before we even get started and tell you what we think. I really want to see what this jerky community has to say about this. As we all know, jerky is not cheap to make. That's why every ounce counts. So if I can help you pick the right cut right up front, there's more jerky for you to enjoy. And that's what this is all about. All right, let me introduce to you the contenders. Okay, so these are the cuts most commonly found at all the Walmarts, and they'll cover just about every type of jerky you possibly want to make. You'll have lean, tender, fatty, tough, and everything in between. First up, top round, sometimes sold as a London broil. This is the classic jerky cut. It's lean, it's affordable, it's easy to find, and a lot of people swear by it as their go-to. Next up, bottom round, also known as the rump roast. A little tougher than top round, but still lean and usable. This one's interesting because the texture can go either way depending how you slice it. Then we've got eye of round. Super lean, very consistent in shape, and easy to slice into even strips. It's one of the most beginner-friendly cuts there is for jerky. Over here, sirloin tip. Think of it like the upgraded version of the round cuts. It's still lean, but it has a little more natural flavor. Usually it costs a little bit more, so the big question is it worth it? Now usually we'd also get a flank steak for this, but they're completely sold out here today. But they do have the chuck eyes. Now these are referred to as the poor man's ribeye. But the price on these has been going up and up and up. Look at this, almost 13 bucks. That is wild. I love these as steaks, but I don't know how they'll do as jerky. But we're trying them anyway. Then we've got skirt steak. This one's sometimes labeled as fajita meat. Tons of flavor, it's a little fattier, and it's a favorite in the grilling world. But will it actually hold up as jerky? Then we got chuck roast. This one is gonna be a gamble. It's not lean, it's got marbling everywhere, but sometimes those fattier cuts can actually surprise you with rich flavor. Or they can just turn greasy and gross. I don't know, we'll see. And finally, you can usually find brisket in the Walmart meat case. Known for barbecue and sometimes a little higher in price, it's really not common as jerky, but it's here and available, so today we're making it. So there you have it. You got 8 different cuts here, each with their own pros and cons. Some of these are tried and true jerky classics, but others, they're just straight up an experiment. But can we talk about some of these beef prices? The eye of round here and the top round, we used to be able to get this all the time for about 4 bucks a pound. But now look at these prices. These are crazy. I'm really hoping these prices come down soon for both of our sakes. These prices are killing me. But for now, it is what it is. All right, I'll quit bitching about the prices. Now that we know our lineup, let's see how each one handles when it comes to prep. Because before you even think about dehydrating, how a cut slices and trims makes a huge difference in your jerky. Top round is pretty forgiving. It's lean, so there's not a ton of fat to trim, and it's easy to slice into long, even strips. This is why so many people call it the classic jerky cut. Bottom round is lean, but it's a little tougher. You'll notice the grain runs differently, so trimming fat really isn't the problem here. It's making sure that you slice across the grain so it doesn't turn into a boot leather. Eye of round is a dream to work with. It's uniform, it's shaped like a log. That means you can get nice even strips without fighting the grain. Walmart actually serves this stuff already sliced up, so there's not much for us to do here. There's no trimming, and it's already got super consistent slices. Sirloin tip has great flavor, but prep takes a little more attention. You'll see thicker spots and thinner spots, so you have to be careful with your slicing if you want even drying later. Chuck eye is basically ribeye's budget cousin. It's got that same rich flavor and plenty of marbling, but it's cheaper, usually. The downside, all that fat. You'll spend extra time trimming, and even then it can still dry kind of greasy. But if you nail it, the flavor payoff is big. Skirt steak's very similar to flank. It's got big flavor and obvious grain, but it usually comes with more fat. Again, you'll spend a little extra time trimming, and just like flank, you'll want to slice against the grain unless you want old-fashioned style tougher to chew jerky. Chuck roast is where the prep gets messy. Heavy marbling, fat running through the meat. You'll be trimming a ton, and even that, some of the fat stays. Sometimes that's rich flavor, but other times it can be a greasy headache. Now, if done right, brisket can work well for jerky. The flat gives you more lean sections, but the point is full of fat. If you're trimming brisket for jerky, expect to lose a lot of weight here before it's usable. Now, before we get to the seasoning, I want to weigh out each one of these to see what we actually yielded. I'll put each of them in their own Ziploc bag so we can mix the seasoning with that and get the final yield weight while we do it. We're keeping it simple with our jerky.com base dry rub. Salt, pepper, smoked paprika, a little chili heat. I mixed up a big batch for all 15 pounds of meat, then every cut's getting the exact same seasoning portioned out by the weight for each cut. The point here is to find out which meat stands out, not which rub recipe grabs our attention the most. Once everything's seasoned, it goes into the fridge overnight to let that rub work its way in. After the fridge rest, we rack the strips up evenly on the dehydrator trays. You don't want them overlapping because airflow is what makes consistently dry jerky. We'll rack up all of these different cuts so they dry side by side, and that way we'll see exactly how each one performs under the same conditions. Then it's straight to the dehydrator at 158 degrees. We'll start babysitting it around the 3-hour mark because every cut dries just a little bit different than the others. It's only a matter of time now from raw beef to tasty homemade jerky. When these are ready, we'll finally see which cut takes the crown. This next part takes hours, but you know what doesn't? Sharing this video. It takes seconds, it helps our small channel grow, and if you send it to anyone who loves jerky, you're helping out more than you know. Thanks a million. I appreciate you. All right, taste testers, now we got 8 different cuts of Walmart steaks here, all turned into jerky. So by the end of this segment, you're gonna know which cuts are the ones you should use and which ones you should try to avoid. So let's dig in.
I'll be honest, it tastes like the jerky that I grew up with. It's not fancy or anything, but a nice solid chew on it.
It's pretty straightforward, good classic texture.
This is a classic cut for a reason. It's lean, it's affordable, it's dependable, and at $8.24 a pound, it's a good combination of performance and price. If you're just starting out, Top Round is a safe bet.
I'll be honest, it's kind of like playing tug of war. A little bit more work than I like to do.
Agreed, it's a little tougher of a bite than I prefer.
Yeah, bottom round can work, but it can be tricky. At $7.94, it's cheap, but it can turn tough if you don't slice it right. Not exactly a beginner-friendly choice.
Big old slap.
Yes, that's that big boy.
I will say this one seems a little bolder to me of a flavor than the other two. I don't know if it's because it's flat, so I get more of the seasoning like on my tongue.
Yeah, bold flavor, easy to chew. I think it's pretty solid.
Exactly. This is the most user-friendly cut there is. At $9.74 a pound, you pay a little more, but it's leaner, you have to do less work, and it's a consistent product that you're gonna get out of it. Easily a top pick for beginners.
Big old piece. That's a big old slab.
That one hits the spot. I feel like you get more of like a beefy flavor out of that one.
Yeah, I can see that. It has bold flavor and a good bite to it.
Yeah, this sirloin definitely gives more flavor than the rounds do. At $9.82 a pound, it's definitely a little on the higher side, but it's definitely worth it if you like that bolder, beefier flavor.
Oh man, that's juicy. Almost feels like a steak strip or something.
Yeah, it has a rich flavor and it's a little bit more bolder than the rounds.
That chuck eye definitely brings richness, but at $12.98, it's one of the most expensive cuts that we've done here so far. Definitely has a great taste, but the additional fat is going to shorten the shelf life and it's going to kind of increase the waste on this one. I'll tell you, it was kind of a pain to rack. Good, but not the most practical, but definitely should try it.
I'll be honest, this one has a bold flavor, but it's like super chewy. Almost kind of like makes you work for that flavor.
Yeah, it's a tougher chew with not a lot of flavor reward.
The skirt definitely has an obvious grain to it, and it does have some of that extra fat in there, which gives it some additional flavor. But at $12.42 a pound, it's a little on the high end, and it ends up a little tougher than some of these other cuts. So unless you like it tough, this might not be the one for you.
Yeah, to be honest, this one feels a little greasy or like, this one's hard to pinpoint.
I'll help you out. It's a little too fatty for my taste buds.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. At $8.26 a pound, it's on the lower end, but the fat and the chew on this thing kind of makes it on the no side for me. I think chuck roast belongs in a slow cooker, not a dehydrator.
Definitely a different vibe. It's got like a deeper, richer flavor than the other ones. I feel like the more I chew, the more I like it.
Yeah, I think brisket makes an excellent jerky if you cut across the grain. But here's the catch. We paid $9.86 a pound for this brisket, but after we cut all the fat away, which was a lot, it brought the actual cost of usable meat to about $15 a pound.
That's the priciest one, right?
Of usable meat, this was the most expensive one we did.
It's hard because I really like the flavor. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
it's a toss up.
Well, we're taking the loss so they don't have to.
This isn't the cheapest, but when you do it right, you're gonna get tender strips with bold flavor. A little more work, but worth it. So here's the takeaway after putting everything here to the test. The chuck roast was just too fatty and too much waste. Save it for your pot roast. The bottom round, skirt steak, and chuck eye each has really good flavor, but they come with trade-offs. Tough chew or too much fat. This one really depends on your preferences. The top round, eye of round, and sirloin tip all hit that sweet spot of both value and flavor. The brisket costs more in the end, around 15 bucks a pound after trimming, but cut it against the grain and you'll get one of the best tasting jerky cuts out there. Do you want to taste test along with us? We drop brand new flavors every single month, but only to our official taste testers. Hit the link in the description, sign up, it's free, and join the team. Making jerky here is always about experimenting and finding out what works perfect for you. We hope this little test here helps you get a head start. Drop a comment with what you'd like to see us test next, and we may feature it in a future video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you here next time in the Jerky.com test kitchen.